Today's video is gonna kind of be a follow-up video to the video I posted a few weeks ago where I talked about how I lost 40 pounds in a sustainable, healthy way. I had such good feedback from you guys on that video, and I was so nervous to post that because clearly I'm a makeup channel, who am I to talk about fitness stuff? But so many of you guys in the comments just really resonated with what I said, and so many people wanted to see more content like this, so this is the follow-up. I highly recommend checking out that video first because in this one I'm gonna go into some more specifics and answer some questions that I got from that first video. So in this video, I want to go more in depth about food and nutrition and just kind of what I ate, because for me, that's what I really had to lock in order to lose the 40 pounds. But again, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do a crazy amount of restrictions or diets. I really did just try to follow an 80-20 lifestyle. I'm also going to talk about the subscriptions that I have subscribed to with my own money that truly have made living this healthy lifestyle a little bit easier, just more convenient. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what my current workouts look like. I want to preface this video by saying that nothing is sponsored in this video because I'm going to be talking about subscriptions, and people have done sponsorships with these companies. And this is not sponsored, but if any of these companies do want to sponsor me, you know where to reach me. I'm also a little sick right now, so if my voice sounds a little bit funny, that's why, but let's dive right in. So in my first video, I talked a bit about how I used the Lose It app to track my calories and my macros, and then how I used an online macro calculator to figure out the amount of food that I need to eat to lose weight in a slow, sustainable way. But I had quite a few people in the comments who didn't know what a macro was, so I kind of wanted to go over that really quick because I'm going to be talking a lot about just macros throughout this video. So we've all heard about tracking calories, right? But not all calories are equal. So that's where macros come in. So macros is short for the term macronutrients, which are the three main types of nutrients that your body needs to function. So we have protein, carbs, and fats. So for me, when I was tracking my food and trying to lose weight slowly, but also still build and maintain my muscle, I really focused on hitting my protein goal and my fat goal. And I kind of just let my carbs fall wherever, as long as they stayed within my calorie goal. But really, protein has always been just my main focus because that is what you need to build and sustain muscle. And then I also focused on my fats because fats can get out of hand pretty easily. The macronutrient fat has more calories to it. So for 1 gram of fat, that's 9 calories versus 1 gram of protein or 1 gram of carbs, it's only 4 calories. So now going into tracking my food and the foods that I ate, knowing this about my calories and my macros, I kind of started with making some easy swaps in my diet. And this is something pretty easy you can do. You don't really have to be tracking to do this. It's just gonna be kind of healthier, sustainable options, right? So now that we know that the macronutrient fat has the highest caloric intake per gram, I really wanted to focus on swapping to lower fat options of food. Because if you can switch from a high fat version of a food to a low fat version, you are saving yourself so many calories. So for example, think whole milk to skim milk, full fat yogurt to Greek yogurt. Reduced fat cheese is an option as well, although I will say sometimes it doesn't taste the best, so honestly I still buy full fat cheese. And then even your condiments like sour cream, mayonnaise, that was such an easy swap for me to buy the lighter version of it because to me they taste exactly the same. But one of the biggest swaps that I made in my diet was the meats that I ate. So for beef, I went from buying 80-20 beef to buying 90-10 beef or even 93-7. I also really like ground turkey, and that is a 93-7, and then chicken breast of course is going to be a really low fat option too. If you're someone that likes bacon in the morning, maybe try turkey bacon. And honestly, as someone that has kind of swapped their eating over these last couple years, I genuinely prefer turkey bacon now over full fat bacon. It just tastes too fatty to me. So my point for these swaps is that I'm still eating the foods that I like. I'm still eating beef and cheese and milk. I'm just buying the lower fat option now. Another easy swap, or just something to be mindful of, I had someone mention this in the comments, is to be mindful of the amount of calories in your drinks. When you're trying to track your food and eat in a calorie deficit, you really don't want to be drinking your calories because it's really not doing anything for you. Because something as simple as your morning mocha or latte can have 200 to 400 calories, and that's just empty calories, right? There's no protein, there's no benefit to your body for that. But again, I'm a huge advocate of the 80-20 lifestyle, so I'm not saying that you can only drink water and you can only drink black coffee and you have to starve yourself of all the fun drinks that you like to enjoy enjoy. But what I would tell myself is like each day I get to have one fun drink, whether that's a soda or a fun coffee or a glass of wine at the end of the night, where throughout the rest of the day I am drinking my hydro jug of water. One thing about me is that I absolutely love Coke. And I drink a Coke every day, but I made the swap from buying like the normal size cans of Coke to the mini sizes of Coke. Because for me, that's still satisfying that craving of Coke just in a smaller amount. And personally, I hate diet soda. I think it tastes absolutely terrible. I wish I was someone that enjoyed it, but I don't. I love a full sugar Coke. Give it to me, you know? So if you are trying to be mindful of your calories, just be mindful of the amount of calories in your drinks, but still allow yourself to have them, just in moderation. Another kind of just overall big tip I wanted to give that's really gonna make this tracking lifestyle easier, especially if you're new to it, is to buy a food scale and learn how to track your food in grams and ounces by weighing out your food. I even think back to when I was in college, like trying to manage my calories and stuff, like I would use measuring cups, you know, trying to scoop out a quarter cup of this and your half cup of this, and like there's just too many half cups. Like it really is easier to just weigh your food, and that's how you're gonna get the most accurate numbers, right? By the weight, not just trying to level out a measuring cup. And weighing your food might kind of sound like a daunting task at first, especially if you haven't done it before, but I promise it is easier. I highly recommend getting a food scale. I think any of them out there are good, but I will link the one that I use down below. And then I also just wanted to mention the food scale in general because I will be talking about grams and ounces throughout this video, so that's why I talk about that, because I weigh out my food instead of using like tablespoons and measuring cups. Now let's get more specific, and I want to talk about the foods that I actually ate and the foods that just really helped me maintain this lifestyle. And this is where it's about to sound sponsored, but it is not. So the first food and subscription that just really helped me overall is Oats overnight. I brought up my whole box to show you. I swear I could write an essay on why I love Oats overnight, and it's funny because when I was first introduced to this company by my ex, probably like 3 years ago, I thought it was a waste of money. He would be like making his oats and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like you could just make it yourself at home. They're so expensive, there's no way it's worth it, but I'm here to tell you it is worth it. So when I decided I wanted to lock in my nutrition in 2024, I was like, okay, let me try these oats overnight. So Oats overnight is a packet of dry oats and you mix it with milk in a little blender bottle like this. You need to make these the night before, but you want to put in 8 ounces of milk and then 1 packet of this. Pour it in, shake it up real well, stick it in the fridge, and then in the morning, you're good to go. I don't even know where to start. Like for me, this is just so convenient in the morning because I hate waking up and just like having to make food. But if this is ready to go, like I am fueled for the morning. And these macros fit perfectly into my diet. So for example, this pouch of vanilla is 290 calories, only 7 grams of fat, which is really low, 42 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein, plus the milk that you add to this. And I highly recommend Fairlife milk. I have made that swap as well because it is a higher protein milk. So the milk plus the oats is about 32 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs, still low fat at 7 grams, and about 370 calories. And that will range a little bit based on the flavors and the type of milk that you use, but starting my day off with 30 grams of protein, 40 something grams of carbs is a perfect way to start my day. And I drink these before I do my workouts. So for me, I like to go to the gym first thing in the morning, so I'll have my coffee with creamer and then I'll drink about half of my oats before the gym and then I drink the other half afterwards, just because I don't feel like I need a ton of food before the gym, but I definitely like to have something in my body. And I just love this because it is so easy and just kind of mindless for me to eat. Like I don't really have to think about it. Now I'm normally someone that can be kind of weird with textures, but I don't have any issue with the texture of this. So it definitely is drinkable. Like that's how I eat it, is I drink it through the bottle, but there definitely is like a little bit of chewing involved. And then some flavors have like maybe little crunchies in them, some have chocolate chips in them, some are just more smooth overall, kind of depends on the flavor. But I have never had any kind of like texture or like grossness with this, and I've been eating these 4 times a week for almost 2 years now. So I love the convenience, how easy it is just to make at night and then have it ready to go in the morning. If you're someone that like drives to work, you can just drink it on your drive to work. I also love how many flavors they have, and I never get bored of the flavors. I definitely have like a few staple ones that I always have in rotation. And then it's fun too because they're always coming out with new flavors. So if you do like subscribe to their box, they'll give you a free packet of a flavor that they're like working on in production, and then they'll try to get your feedback on it. So like that's kind of fun too, to try just one new random flavor a month. So they have a lot of flavors on their website, but my favorite, like my number one, is definitely mint chocolate chip. The texture is perfect, the taste is perfect. I love the little chocolate chips in here. Another one I have in my rotation is blueberry cobbler, and this one does have like little blueberries in it. And then I also like to throw in some more just kind of basic, easy flavors. Like I said, I have vanilla. I also really like their banana bread one. Sometimes I'll try some new ones for shits and giggles. I've been trying out cinnamon roll, and then I got this chocolate cake one. Didn't love this one, it was too sweet for me, but that's okay. I've literally never hated a flavor enough to not drink it. Like, they're all edible to me. You see why I had to say that this isn't sponsored? Because it sounds so sponsored. But that's why I love these two, because there are so many fun flavors. Like, you could totally make your own oats overnight at home. I have seen so many recipes online. People make them in their little mason jars and stuff. And I have tried that before, but I just could never get the taste right. And it was just never enjoyable for me. So that is my obsession with oats overnight. Convenient, easy, delicious, 30 grams of protein to start the day, butter. But it also just keeps me full for hours. Let me think, I probably eat them around 7 in the morning, and then I don't eat again until, I don't know, 11 or 12. So that's like 4 or 5 hours with just that for breakfast. I am good to go. So again, I've only ever been a paying subscriber of this, but if you want to check it out, I will leave my referral link down below. I think it gives you some money off. It gives me some money off. It's a win-win for everyone. And in your first subscription order, you do get a free blender bottle, which you will need to eat the oats. Okay, I'm done talking about oatmeal now. Let's talk about protein shakes really quick, because I did have some people ask what are the protein shakes that I like. And I mentioned in my last video that I do like to have a protein shake every day, because that does help me hit my protein goal, because again, protein is my main priority, my main macro that I focus on. And I don't use my protein shakes as a meal replacement. I use them in addition to the 3-4 small meals that I eat a day. Most protein shakes will be about 30 grams of protein. So for me, that's kind of like a good snack, and I'll have maybe some fruit with it or something, I don't know. But my favorite protein shakes are the Fairlife ones. I think they taste the absolute best in my opinion out of all the ones I've ever tasted. These ones taste literally like chocolate milk. There's no chalkiness. It doesn't taste too artificial or just weird to me. Like, to me, it is delicious. So that is my top protein shake pick, and I do get them at Costco, but sometimes my Costco runs out. So my second pick is the Premier protein ones. I buy the chocolate and vanilla. The taste of these are okay. I don't think they taste like chocolate milk. They definitely taste like a protein shake for me, but again, for me, hitting my protein is important. When I drink my protein shakes, I kind of double up a little bit. I always walk Rue just around the property as I just drink my protein shake. So she gets her steps in, I get some steps in, and I get my protein in. You could also buy like a protein powder and mix it with water or milk. I highly recommend milk. I think protein powder and water is absolutely disgusting. Again, I'm a huge fan of the Fairlife milk. Honestly, Fairlife milk, Fairlife protein shakes are really high up there for me. But whenever I would do a protein powder with milk and I'd put it in some kind of like blender bottle like this, I just never really liked the consistency. Sometimes you get some weird clumps or it gets kind of foamy. And like I said, I can get kind of weird with textures. So I just like the idea of buying the shakes because I know it's gonna taste the same every single time. And it's just a bit more convenient that way for me. Honestly, I don't really have a brand of protein powder that I can recommend because that's not something that I eat right now. And I never really found one that I loved. So pre-made protein shakes are the way that I go. I had a lot of people ask about the types of meals that I ate, and another subscription that I was a subscriber for like honestly 7 years, kind of on and off, was HelloFresh. Again, this is not sponsored, but HelloFresh, if you want to sponsor me, I'm so down. One thing about me is that I absolutely hate having to decide what to eat every week. It is literally my least favorite part of being an adult. So that's why I was subscribed to HelloFresh for such a long time, because they give you this giant list of meals and you're like, okay, let me pick 3 meals out of this selection, and then the ingredients show up at your door, you cook it, it's easy. I kind of learned how to cook from HelloFresh because the instructions are very easy to follow. The ingredients are pretty basic and just like, you know, your typical ingredients. But I did notice that the quality of the ingredients in my boxes weren't always the best. Sometimes I would get like the smallest vegetables in the world, or sometimes there would be missing ingredients, and that is just like really frustrating when you're trying to cook cook dinner, you know? So what I did is that I downloaded all of my favorite HelloFresh recipes, and now I just kind of pick from those week to week. Like I literally have a folder in my laptop that's like HelloFresh recipes, and I can pick from those, buy the ingredients myself, and make it at home. Some of my favorite meals from them are like their flatbread pizzas, you know, top that with vegetables and whatever kind of meat you want. They have like a Korean beef bowl that I really like. They also have these firecracker meatballs. Oh, and then the Vietnamese chicken bowl, the little side for that they make is like this carrot, cucumber, cilantro salad. Like I never would have thought of that myself. So I've definitely found some of my like go-to staple meals from HelloFresh. And I'm pretty sure that anyone can have access to like the HelloFresh cookbook of like all the meals and recipes. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. Speaking of HelloFresh, literally just this week, I signed up for Factor, which is owned by HelloFresh, and maybe you've seen their ads because I have been getting so many Factor ads. But pretty much Factor is pre-made meals, so like there's no cooking involved. It's a meal that's ready to go. You just gotta microwave it and it's good to go. So I think because I was a HelloFresh customer for so long, I got a postcard in the mail from Factor that had just like a really good discount on it. I think it was like 50% off your first box and then 20% off your next couple boxes after that. So I signed up and I literally ate my first meal yesterday and it was pretty solid. They had a lot of meals to choose from. I want to say there was like over 20 meals and they had kind of something for everyone, kind of depending on whatever your diet is. So for me, obviously I just chose like the high protein ones. Again, I'm paying for this myself, but I just wanted to try Factor just to kind of switch it up. And I really like convenience. Like you'll kind of recognize by all these things that I'm talking about today, like I like things that are easy and convenient. So I picked out higher protein meals, but I did notice though that the fat is a little bit high on some of the meals. It's a little bit higher than I would like to eat for a full meal, but I think a lot of the fat comes from like the sauces they use. So I think I could probably just like use less sauce or something, you know? But I'll definitely keep you guys updated on how Factor works for me and whether or not I continue to use it. I think it might just be something I use when I just kind of need like a break from cooking. So I'll keep you guys updated. Another food tip, just kind of overall that really helped me, was get comfortable eating kind of the same foods or the same types of meals every day. And for me, any kind of rice bowl became just like a staple in my food rotation, and it is still a staple to this day. Turns out I really like rice, and for me it's just another easy food to eat. And there are so many ways that you can make like a rice bowl, you know? So for me, rice has kind of become like my preferred carb source. Like I prefer rice over pasta now because I feel better after I eat rice versus pasta. I don't know. And it's really easy to make. I eat jasmine rice. I don't eat brown rice. I think brown rice tastes disgusting. And honestly, the macros are pretty freaking similar between jasmine rice and brown rice. I know that rice cookers are a thing, but I make my rice in my Instant Pot. I make a batch every single week and it turns out absolutely perfect every single time. So one of my go-to lunch meals of last year in 2024 was a beef and rice bowl. I am the type of person that will hyperfixate on a meal and I will eat it over and over and over until I get sick of it, which is usually about a 3-month period. So for my beef and rice bowls, I would eat, 100 grams of rice, 4 ounces of my 90-10 ground beef, kind of seasoned however I want. I'd add a serving of shredded cheese, maybe some pico de gallo. I'd have my mini Coke, and that was my lunch. I even ate beef and rice so much that I would like sing a little song to myself every time I would eat my beef and rice lunch. Beef and rice, rice and beef. So weird. But as expected, I got kind of sick of ground beef, so my current obsession that I think I'm almost over because I'm kind of at that 3-month period now is ground turkey. And I did post a short of my go-to ground turkey recipe. It is absolutely delicious, so I'll link that down below and up in the cards if you want to check that out. So honestly, I still eat some kind of rice bowl every single day, and right now it's my ground turkey rice with like edamame. It's so good. So like I said, get comfortable eating the same types of foods or almost kind of the same meal every day, and that kind of goes hand in hand with learning how to meal prep. Because honestly, if you're trying to like accurately track your food, it is going to be so much harder if you're eating different things every single day. And you're going to get burnt out pretty quick if you're trying to track a different meal every single day. But if you're someone like me that, I can eat my oats for breakfast every day, I have my beef and rice bowl for lunch, and then usually my dinner is something different. So when I meal prep, I like to prep for about 3 to 4 days. days. I don't like to go any longer than that because I think food that's reheated after 4 days is kind of gross to me. But it's also helpful to meal prep because once you kind of figure out the meals that work for you, you can kind of have a rotation of those meals. And once you kind of get used to meal prepping and tracking your food, you're gonna figure out the foods that fit well into your calorie deficit or whatever you're tracking. And when you find those foods and those meals that fit, it just becomes a habit to eat those foods and kind of have a rotation of meals that work for you. So my favorite person to follow for meal prep recipes, hands down, is Zach Coen. I want to say I found him about 2 years ago, maybe on TikTok or Instagram Reels, but he has so many free recipes on his social media, on his TikTok, on his Instagram, and all of his meals are like affordable, easy to make, and high protein. He also has a Patreon that's only $5 a month, and I did subscribe to his Patreon. I am a supporter, and that's where he posts even more just like exclusive Patreon recipes. So on his Patreon, you have access to all those old recipes, and he's always posting new ones weekly, so it's kind of like an ever-growing cookbook of meal prep recipes. And I like the Patreon a lot too because there's a little search bar, so you could search by like a type of food. You could search rice and all his rice recipes will pop up, or pasta, or beef, or chicken, and kind of do it that way. And $5 a month is so reasonable for the amount of resources that he gives you. He's another kind of like no bullshit, just very straightforward kind of guy, but he also like recommends eat everything in moderation. So he's never preaching about any crazy diets or anything. So that ground turkey meal that I just mentioned and posted a short of, that recipe is from him. He actually made it with chicken, but sometimes I get sick of chicken, so I made it with ground turkey. But I definitely have some staple meals from him that I really love. He has this spaghetti carbonara with bacon. It is so freaking good. I actually might make that one soon. I've been craving it. He also has like a cheesy ranch pasta one that is one of my staples. So again, like I like to find a rotation of meals that work for me. I have a rotation from like HelloFresh and then a rotation from Zach, and I just like pick and choose for the weeks. Of course, I will link him down below for you. So I kind of briefly touched on it, but here's what like a usual day of eating looks like for me. So in the morning before the gym, I always start out with a coffee. I just like to make cold brew at home, and then I add whatever kind of creamer I want into that. And then like I said earlier, I have half of my oats before the gym and then the other half afterwards. And then usually around 11 or 12, I like to make a second breakfast because I really like eggs. So I'll do 2 eggs, 2 pieces of turkey bacon, a piece of toast, and that'll hold me over for a while. And then sometime in the early afternoon, I'll have my protein shake, walk with Rue around the property. And then like I said, my lunch is usually some kind of rice bowl. So right now it's rice and ground turkey, of course flavored and seasoned and everything. It's not plain, I promise. With my edamame and my mini Coke. And then also to help me hit my protein goal, it works for me to have a Greek yogurt a day. So I just like to buy the Chobani ones. I really like the key lime pie. They have a peach one, a raspberry one. I'll have like a little yogurt snack, maybe with some crackers, because usually I want something crunchy around then. And then usually my dinner is some kind of HelloFresh recipe, but I think for the next few weeks it's gonna be some kind of factor meal, which I will keep you guys updated on. And then around bedtime, I always like to have my little pack of goldfish. Sometimes if I want something sweet, I like to buy candy too, so I'll have maybe like a Reese's peanut butter cup or a little Kit Kat, the little fun size ones. Those are delicious to me. So that's kind of what I eat in a day and what has helped me lose 40 pounds. Actually, I think I'm at 42 pounds at this point, which is crazy. Okay, so that was a lot to talking about food, but now I kind of want to talk about what my workouts look like because I did have some questions on that. So I kind of briefly mentioned this in the first video, but I like to do weightlifting, and for about 3 years I followed Brett Contreras's Booty by Brett program, and that program just taught me so much overall about weightlifting. I liked his program a lot too because he has different splits kind of just depending on your schedule. So for a while I followed his 3 full body days, so I would work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full body each time. Or he also has a 4 to 5 day split if you can get into the gym more days a week. But what I've been doing since like 2024 is I write my own workout program. I kind of mentioned this in the first video, but I've spent a lot of my time just like researching workouts. There's one person I like to follow. His name is Jeff Nippard. He's a very like science-based lifter, so I got a lot of my knowledge from him too of like what workouts are best and what movements to do for muscle growth. But anyways, I write my own program and I currently lift 4 times a week, and I split my workouts between push, legs, pull, legs. So normally Monday is my push day, and that's where I do my chest, shoulders, and tricep movements. Tuesdays I do quads and glutes. I rest on Wednesdays. Thursdays are my pull days where I'm doing back and biceps, and then Fridays is my second leg day where I'm doing glutes and hamstrings. So I really do the same workouts week to week, and I like to follow my programs for about 8 to 12 weeks, and then I'll kind of switch it up because maybe I get a little bored or just, want to change things up a bit. But I'm always kind of doing the same movement patterns and kind of doing like the big lifts. I do my bench press, I do my squats, I do my hip thrusts. And then over this 8 to 12 week period, I do aim for progressive overload, which is gradually increasing the weight, the reps, or just your intensity over time. So when I'm doing my workouts, if I'm comparing my week 1 to my week 8, like my week 8, usually I'm a lot stronger by that point. And I like to write my own workouts because there are really so many different things that you could focus on in the gym. Like when I first kind of got into weightlifting, I loved like the big 3, and I low-key wanted to become a power lifter. Like I spent so long mastering how to deadlift, bench, and squat because like those are the big 3, and at that time I would do more low reps, high weight because I just wanted to be really strong moving this heavy weight. But I've learned that my training preferences kind of change over time. Like I don't even deadlift anymore. I haven't deadlifted for probably 2 years now because I just don't want to. But there's still other lifts I can do that are going to hit those same muscles. And I've kind of realized I don't want to become a power lifter, so I don't need to deadlift. But in 2024, when I really wanted to lock in, I went from doing low reps, high weight to more higher reps. So I kind of focused more into like an 8 to 12 rep range. But as my training preferences have kind of changed, I'm at a point now where I'm kind of like, I want to dabble a little bit into calisthenics and kind of do more like body weight exercises. It took me months and months of working on this, but I can finally do like a real good solid push-up now. I can do 2 good push-ups in a row. And now that I'm lighter as well, I really want to get my first pull-up. Like that's kind of my goal right now, is get a pull-up. So now some of my training looks a little bit more like calisthenics, where I do a lot of like dead hangs and hollow body holds and a lot of like eccentric movements. I did eccentric chin-ups last week for the first time in probably like 2 years because I couldn't do it when I was weighing at 226, but now that I weigh like 185, I can. But oh my gosh, my entire upper body and my abs were so sore for like 4 days after doing those eccentric chin-ups. But it felt so good for me. And so for me, it's kind of fun to have a goal of something to work towards. And for me, that's a pull-up or a chin-up. Honestly, any kind of way I can get up, I'll take. But that's what I like about weightlifting in the gym, is that there are kind of ways to switch up your routine and keep things a little bit fun. But really, if you are trying to build muscle, you do need to do the same movements over time to build the muscle. I had someone comment and they said that they find the gym like really boring and repetitive. And I think if you're someone that's just kind of like, ugh, I have to go to the gym, and like you're at the gym and you're just kind of like going through the motions, yeah, that's like really boring. That's not fun. But really, a lot of this is just kind of shifting your mindset. And one thing that kind of clicked in my brain a couple years ago at this point is telling myself that I get to work out. I get to move my body. Like what a blessing that is, because there are some people who can't. And what I love about weightlifting too is that you are only in competition with yourself. And so if you are actually going to the gym, you are tracking your workouts, and you are like actually pushing yourself to be better week to week, I think that shit's really fun. For me and my mindset, it's like I show up to the gym and I ask myself, like, how can I be even better than I was the week before? Whether it's doing 1 more rep or just slightly increasing that weight, or more time under tension, or even better mind-muscle connection. It's hard for me to explain, but I just love the gym because I really feel like I am bettering myself when I'm at the gym, and like it's just so fun for me. But I am also the kind of person that loves structure. I love routine, so I love going to the gym and showing up and knowing exactly what I'm doing that day and just pushing myself. Like that shit is so fun. I do think it could be a fun video if I do like what I eat in a day plus like my workout for the day. I guess that's kind of like taking you through my entire day almost, but that kind of video would tell you like exactly what I'm doing at the gym. So let me know if you'd want to see something like that. But that is gonna wrap up this video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one as well. If you have any like specific types of videos you want to see on this kind of fitness lifestyle content, please let me know down below. And really, I would love to try to find like a balance of this on my channel here where like, of course I'll still do makeup, like that is my life, but also health and fitness because that is another really big part of my life and it's fun for me to share that with you guys. So let me know what other types of videos you want to see with this type of content down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one.